12. Ground covers that choke weeds all autumn, no chemicals. Hello friends, and welcome back to Earthly Delights, your cozy corner where we celebrate the joy of gardening, houseplants, and creating green spaces that truly feel like home. If you're the kind of person who loves walking barefoot across soft grass, who dreams of a backyard where weeds don't take over every corner, or maybe you're simply tired of pulling dandelions out of your flower beds every week, then you're in exactly the right place. Many of you watching are home gardeners, plant lovers, or new homeowners who want to make the most of your outdoor space without spending endless hours weeding or using harsh chemicals. You care about safe, natural ways to nurture your soil, protect your plants, and still enjoy a garden that looks stunning in every season. Today, we're diving into a topic that will save you time, effort, and frustration. Ground covers that choke out weeds all autumn long, without chemicals. Imagine stepping into your garden and seeing not a single patch of bare soil or invading weeds, but a lush living carpet of green and blooms. That's the power of ground covers, and I can't wait to share these with you. So if you're ready to reclaim your garden and discover plants that practically do the work for you, stay with me to the end. And don't forget, if you love practical, inspiring gardening tips, make sure to hit that subscribe button to join the Earthly Delights community. Together, we'll grow something beautiful. Part 1, what makes a great autumn ground cover in the US? When you think about a ground cover that truly works, it's not just about looks, it's about performance. A beautiful plant that doesn't spread, or one that struggles outside a greenhouse, won't do much for your garden. The best ground covers are those that know how to outsmart weeds by simply being better competitors. They spread quickly, they cast shade over the soil, and they hold on to every drop of moisture and nutrient before weeds can even think about taking root. For many of you watching, your garden is more than just decoration. It's an extension of your home, a place where your kids or pets can play safely, and where you can relax without worrying about harsh sprays or endless weeding. That's why choosing wisely matters. The right ground cover should match your USDA zone, whether you're gardening in cooler northern states or the warm southern climates. It should be tough enough to handle your soil and weather conditions, but gentle on the ecosystem, meaning no invasive bullies that take over more than you bargained for. Think of it like this. Ground covers are living allies. They aren't just filling space. They're working hard to protect your soil, prevent erosion, keep the ground cool, and even enrich it. By the time we explore the 12 best options, you'll see how each one brings its own charm and strength to your autumn garden. This way, when the seasons shift, your garden will feel cared for, without backbreaking effort. Part 2:12, ground covers that suppress weeds. Naturally, now that we know what makes a ground cover truly effective, let's step into the heart of this journey. Imagine replacing hours of pulling weeds with the simple joy of watching a living carpet grow thicker every week. In this part, we'll uncover 12 remarkable plants that not only smother weeds, but also bring beauty, texture, and life to your autumn garden. 1. Moss phlox, a colorful carpet that blocks weeds. Picture this, a gentle slope or a sunny patch in your garden covered with a dense, living quilt of tiny star-shaped flowers. That's moss phlox. Known for its low spreading growth, moss phlox forms a thick mat that hugs the soil tightly, leaving almost no room for weeds to break through. During autumn, even after the main flush of spring blooms has faded, its evergreen foliage continues to work quietly, shading the ground and protecting your soil. For those of you who want both beauty and function, this plant is a dream. It offers vibrant color in the spring and reliable weed control through the fall. It thrives in USDA zones 3 through 9, making it an excellent choice for gardeners across much of the United States. And the best part? It asks for very little in return. Once established, it's drought-tolerant, resilient, and can handle rocky or sandy soils. If you've ever longed for a ground cover that turns bare soil into a lush, colorful tapestry while saving you from endless weeding, moss phlox is your first loyal ally. 2. Hardy plumbago autumn's blue and red wonder. Hardy plumbago, also called ceratostigma, is one of those plants that quietly surprises you. Through the warmer months, it covers the ground with deep green leaves, weaving a thick carpet that refuses to let weeds sneak in. But when autumn arrives, it transforms into a true showstopper. Brilliant sapphire blue flowers appear just as many other blooms begin to fade. And then, as the weather cools, the foliage shifts into a fiery red. This double performance, color and coverage, makes hardy plumbago a perfect partner for gardeners who crave low-maintenance beauty. It grows well in USDA zones 5 through 9 and thrives in full sun to partial shade, adapting easily to different corners of the garden. Once established, it requires little more than occasional watering and a trim if it spreads beyond its boundaries. Its roots anchor firmly, preventing erosion, while its dense growth prevents weeds from gaining ground. For those of you who dream of a garden that feels alive even as autumn deepens, hardy plumbago offers both charm and practicality, ensuring weeds never get the spotlight. 3. Lamb's ear, the silvery shield against weeds. If you've ever brushed your fingers across the velvety leaves of lamb's ear, you know why it's such a beloved plant. Its silver-gray foliage forms thick rosettes that spread steadily, knitting together into a soft, protective blanket over the soil. For gardeners who want a ground cover that feels both ornamental and functional, lamb's ear is a natural choice. The dense mat of leaves blocks light from reaching the soil, making it nearly impossible for weeds to push through. Even when autumn's chill sets in, lamb's ear holds its ground, keeping its silvery glow as a highlight in the garden. This hardy plant thrives in USDA zones 4 through 9, performing best in sunny spots with well-drained soil. It's also remarkably drought-tolerant once established, so it suits busy gardeners who don't want another high-maintenance plant to fuss over. Children and guests are often drawn to its fuzzy leaves, adding a playful, sensory element to your landscape. Whether you plant it along borders, in rock gardens, or to cover large open areas, lamb's ear offers a reliable, chemical-free shield against weeds while bringing a unique texture that brightens your autumn garden. 4. Lenten rose evergreen elegance that holds back weeds. The Lenten rose, or helleborus, is not a rose at all but a hardy perennial with a reputation for strength and grace. Its glossy, evergreen leaves stay thick and sturdy throughout autumn, forming a canopy that shades the soil and leaves weeds without a chance to sprout. Unlike some ground covers that lose their appeal once blooms fade, the Lenten rose remains attractive year-round, offering dark, leathery foliage that feels lush even in the colder months. Then, as winter fades, it greets you with nodding, cup-shaped flowers in shades of white, pink, purple, or green, long before most plants dare to bloom. This resilience makes it especially valuable for gardeners who want a ground cover that works double duty, keeping weeds at bay while adding seasonal interest. Thriving in USDA zones 4 through 9, the Lenten rose prefers partial to full shade, making it perfect for those tricky spots under trees or beside shaded borders where weeds still try to creep in. It's deer-resistant, long-lived, and once established, surprisingly low maintenance. For anyone wanting to combine beauty, toughness, and natural weed control, the Lenten rose is a quiet powerhouse in the autumn garden. 5. Green and gold, a carpet of sunshine that smothers weeds. Green and gold, known scientifically as Chrysogonum virginianum, is a native gem that truly lives up to its name. Its low-growing foliage forms a dense, leafy carpet that locks weeds out of the soil, while cheerful golden yellow blooms dance across the greenery from spring well into autumn. For many home gardeners, this plant feels like the perfect compromise. It offers vibrant color while also doing the hard work of weed control. Unlike some aggressive spreaders, green and gold expands steadily through underground stolons, weaving itself naturally into open spaces without becoming overwhelming. It thrives best in USDA zones 5 through 9 and prefers partial shade, though it will tolerate sun if the soil stays moist. This makes it an excellent choice for shady pathways, under shrubs, or as a bright accent along garden edges. Its ability to cover soil evenly means you'll spend less time kneeling in frustration pulling weeds and more time enjoying a living, flowering ground cover. Beyond beauty, green and gold also supports pollinators, bringing bees and butterflies into your yard during the growing season. For gardeners searching for a natural, chemical-free way to combine function and charm, this plant is pure sunshine at ground level. 6. Bugleweed, a spreading carpet with autumn strength. Bugleweed, or Ajuga reptans, is one of those plants that seems almost designed to outcompete weeds. Its rosettes of glossy, often bronze or purple-tinged leaves create a dense mat that hugs the soil tightly, shutting out any light that would allow unwanted seeds to germinate. As autumn sets in, this evergreen foliage remains strong, making it a year-round ground warrior. But bugleweed doesn't just defend your soil, it also adds a striking visual element. In spring, it sends up spikes of deep blue to violet flowers, creating a bold contrast against its dark leaves. Perfect for USDA zones 3 through 9, it adapts easily to sun or shade, though it thrives in partial shade with moist soil. For gardeners who struggle with erosion on slopes or with stubborn bare patches under trees, bugleweed offers a practical solution. It roots quickly from runners, spreading outward like a living net. While it may need occasional trimming to keep it in bounds, its vigor is what makes it such a reliable ally. If you're tired of weeds popping up in those awkward garden spaces, bugleweed is a tough, attractive, and low-maintenance choice that truly earns its place in your autumn landscape. 7. Host of broadleaves that shade out weeds. Few plants can rival the dramatic foliage of hostas when it comes to combining beauty with practical ground coverage. With their large, arching leaves in shades of green, blue, or variegated patterns, hostas create a natural umbrella over the soil, leaving little light or space for weeds to gain a foothold. This makes them especially valuable in shady gardens, where weeds often try to sneak in between other plantings. Hostas thrive in USDA zones 3 through 9, and while they love shade, they can adapt to morning sun if the soil stays consistently moist. In autumn, their foliage continues to provide thick coverage until frost, ensuring weeds remain suppressed well into the season. Many gardeners also appreciate how hostas bring texture and visual weight to a garden, turning once bare ground into a lush tapestry. They're relatively low maintenance, asking only for rich soil, regular watering, and a bit of protection from slugs. For homeowners who dream of a garden that feels polished and full without constant weeding, hostas are a tried and true favorite. Whether planted along walkways, in borders, or beneath trees, they offer both elegance and practical weed control that lasts through the fall. 8. Creeping juniper evergreen armor for weed control. Creeping juniper is the kind of ground cover that does its job with quiet strength. This hardy evergreen shrub spreads outward in a low trailing habit, forming a thick, woody mat that weeds simply can't penetrate. Its needle-like foliage stays lush and green, or sometimes silvery blue, throughout autumn and winter, giving year-round beauty while locking down the soil beneath. Perfect for USDA zones 3 through 9, creeping juniper thrives in full sun and is especially valued in tough spots where other plants struggle, like rocky slopes or sandy soil. Once established, it's drought-tolerant and virtually carefree, making it ideal for busy gardeners who want weed-free areas without constant attention. Its strong root system also stabilizes banks and hillsides, preventing erosion while keeping invasive weeds away. Though it doesn't offer bright flowers, creeping juniper's evergreen presence provides a reliable backdrop for more colorful perennials nearby. Many homeowners love how it creates a natural, low-maintenance carpet that looks neat and intentional, no matter the season. If you're seeking a ground cover that combines strength, resilience, and an unwavering shield against weeds, creeping juniper is a dependable guardian for your autumn garden. 9. Allegheny spurge, a native ground cover with autumn staying power. Allegheny spurge, known scientifically as Pachysandra procumbens, is a native treasure that quietly works wonders in the garden. Unlike its more aggressive Japanese cousin, this American variety spreads at a gentle pace, forming clumps of mottled green leaves that knit together into a dense, weed-blocking mat. As autumn deepens, its foliage remains strong, hugging the soil and shielding it from opportunistic weeds. What makes Allegheny spurge especially appealing is its love for shade, perfect for those difficult spots beneath trees or along the north side of your home where weeds still manage to creep in. It thrives in USDA zones 5 through 9 and adapts to a range of soils as long as they are well drained. In spring, it surprises you with fragrant, bottle brush-like blooms, adding a touch of charm before the leaves fully unfurl again. This plant is also deer-resistant, making it a reliable choice for suburban gardeners dealing with browsing wildlife. For those who want a ground cover that respects the balance of the ecosystem while still providing powerful weed suppression, Allegheny spurge is a thoughtful, native-friendly option that brings beauty, resilience, and harmony to your autumn garden. 10. Cheddar pinks, fragrant mats that keep weeds away. Cheddar pinks, or Dianthus gracianopolitanus firewitch, may sound delicate, but don't let the name fool you. This plant is a hard-working ground cover with real staying power. Its silvery green foliage forms tidy cushions that spread steadily, creating a dense mat that weeds struggle to break through. When autumn rolls around, the foliage remains evergreen, holding its place as a natural barrier long after summer blooms have passed. And those blooms, brilliant magenta pink flowers with a spicy, clove-like fragrance, are a delight in late spring and early summer, attracting pollinators while adding bursts of color. Thriving in USDA zones 3 through 8, cheddar pinks prefer full sun and well-drained soil, making them especially suited for rock gardens, borders, and sunny slopes. What gardeners love most is how this plant combines practicality with charm. It's drought-tolerant, low-maintenance, and visually striking. Once established, you'll find yourself spending far less time tugging at weeds in those sunny patches and more time enjoying the sweet fragrance drifting through your garden. For anyone who wants a splash of color, a touch of scent, and a weed-fighting carpet all in one, cheddar pinks are a perfect fit. 11. Microclover, a modern green carpet that feeds the soil. Microclover, a smaller-leaved form of traditional white clover, Trifolium repens, is quickly becoming a favorite for eco-conscious gardeners. Unlike high-maintenance lawns or bare mulch beds, microclover creates a soft, resilient carpet of green that thrives through autumn while quietly suppressing weeds. Its dense growth pattern shades the soil, leaving little chance for unwanted plants to germinate. But microclover does more than just cover the ground. It actively enriches it. As a legume, it fixes nitrogen from the air into the soil, naturally fertilizing itself and nearby plants. That means your garden beds stay lush without the need for chemical additives. Perfect for USDA zones 3 through 9, microclover adapts well to sun or partial shade, and it's tough enough to tolerate foot traffic, making it ideal for pathways, play areas, or mixed borders. Gardeners love how it stays vibrant, even as the weather cools, ensuring a living carpet of green well into fall. Low-growing, low-maintenance, and pollinator-friendly, microclover is a ground cover that not only locks out weeds, but also nurtures the very soil beneath your feet. It's a modern solution for those who want a garden that gives back as much as it protects. 12. Wintergreen evergreen, charm that outsmarts weeds. Wintergreen, also known as Gaultheria procumbens, is a small but mighty ground cover that keeps your garden alive with color and fragrance, even as autumn settles in. Its glossy, evergreen leaves spread slowly but form a dense mat that blocks weeds from taking root. In fall, those leaves often blush with shades of red and burgundy, adding seasonal beauty while still protecting the soil. What makes wintergreen especially charming are its small white flowers in summer, followed by bright red berries that persist into winter, offering food for birds and a festive touch to your garden. Thriving in USDA zones 3 through 8, it prefers partial shade and acidic, well-drained soil, perfect for woodland gardens, shady borders, or beneath tall shrubs where weeds often sneak in. Beyond its looks, wintergreen also carries a subtle minty aroma when leaves are crushed, a reminder of its historic use in teas and oils. Gardeners love it not just for its weed-suppressing ability, but for the year-round interest it brings to tricky spaces. For those seeking a ground cover that works quietly yet transforms the garden with beauty and resilience, wintergreen is a natural choice to close our list. Part 3: Why ground covers work without chemicals. One of the most fascinating things about ground covers is that they fight weeds not with sprays or tools, but simply with the power of nature itself. Think of them as living mulch. Their foliage stretches wide and low, creating a cool shade blanket that blocks sunlight from ever reaching the soil. Without that light, most weed seeds can't germinate, which means fewer intruders trying to steal your garden's energy. But shading is only part of the story. Ground covers are strong competitors. They take up water, nutrients, and root space so thoroughly that weeds simply don't stand a chance. Some, like microclover, even enrich the soil by fixing nitrogen, feeding the earth while holding weeds at bay. Others protect your yard in different ways. Their root systems knit the soil together, stopping erosion, keeping slopes stable, and reducing water loss. For you as a gardener, this means less time pulling, spraying, or worrying, and more time enjoying your space. It's a solution that works in harmony with the environment, keeping your family and pets safe while still delivering that lush, well-tended look. Ground covers prove that sometimes the smartest way to garden is also the simplest. Part 4. Planting and Maintenance Guide. Now that you know how ground covers naturally outsmart weeds, let's talk about how to give them the best start in your own garden. Success begins with the soil. Before planting, clear away any existing weeds and loosen the ground so roots can spread quickly. Adding compost or organic matter will help improve drainage and give young plants a boost. The best time to plant is late summer through early fall. This window allows the roots to establish before winter arrives, ensuring strong growth when spring returns. Spacing is important. Set plants close enough, usually 6 to 12 inches apart, so they'll connect into a seamless carpet over time. In the beginning, keep the soil evenly moist until the roots settle in. Once established, most ground covers need little water, thriving on rainfall alone. For maintenance, trim back runners or edges if they start to wander beyond where you want them, and pull any stray weeds early before they gain strength. Some gardeners like to use mulch between young plants until the foliage fills in, then let the plants take over completely. With these simple steps, your ground covers will become a self-sustaining shield, protecting your garden year after year, reclaiming your garden the natural way. As we come to the end of this journey, imagine walking through your garden on a crisp autumn morning. Instead of stooping down to pull out stubborn weeds, you see a living carpet of color and texture stretching out beneath your feet. From the silvery glow of lamb's ear to the jewel-toned berries of wintergreen, these ground covers don't just save you time. They transform your space into something vibrant, natural, and enduring. The beauty is that none of this requires harsh sprays or backbreaking labor. By choosing plants that work in harmony with the soil, you're not only protecting your garden, but also creating a safe haven for your family, your pets, and the wildlife that visits. Every leaf, every root is a quiet ally in your fight against weeds, proving that nature often gives us the simplest and smartest solutions. Now it's your turn. Which of these 12 ground covers speaks to you most? Have you tried any of them in your own yard, or do you have a favorite that keeps weeds at bay? I'd love to hear your experiences. Drop a comment below, and let's inspire each other to garden smarter, not harder. And if you found value in today's guide, don't forget to subscribe to Earthly Delights for more practical, beautiful ways to transform your garden into a space you truly love. Together, let's keep growing something wonderful.